This week on First Chapter Friday, I am going to read the first chapter of The Remarkable Rescue at Milkweed Meadow by Elaine Dimopoulos, illustrated by Doug Salati. Don't be fooled by this cover. Might not be all fun and games. It starts with a map. That's my favorite. Let's dive right into Chapter 1. Everyone in Milkweed Meadow still talks about the rescue. And if you stop hopping around like a kit that's found a banana slice, I'll tell you the story. Mother encourages strong beginnings. Snare them, she says. It's a joke. We rabbits are terrified of snares. Me more than most. But I suppose that's what a good story does. It digs into your skin like a silver wire and holds you in its grasp. I could begin the day Winsome crashed into our home and broke her leg, or the day I met Piper and nearly toppled off the trellis, but I'll go back further, to Blue, at his most despicable. I'm glad I was busy in the burrow at the time. Even so, I can imagine exactly how he and his dark heart carried out the misdeed. The first thing you need to know is that Blue ruled the feeder at the neatly mowed grazing lawn next to the meadow. He'd always ruled it. He flapped like a storm at the Chickadee brothers if they approached while he was eating. "Stay away or I'll pluck you clean," he'd shout at the house sparrows and the other small birds, seed crumbs exploding from his beak. The woodpeckers were the only ones that sometimes squawked back, but that big bully always held his ground. Even the squirrels shot away to the oak trees when he dove at them. Blue's something to look at, all right. My fur is the color of wet wheat. Mother wouldn't like that I don't express pride in my appearance, but I've always envied the piercing blue feathers of jays with their black and white dappling. I'm not the only one either, because when he feeds, two faces often appear at the window of the house next to the lawn. The little humans who live there, the ones who fill the feeder with seed whenever it runs low, love to watch him, I've noticed. It seems wrong that a creature so beautiful could be so vile. The cruelest thing that day was that Blue must have been full already after a morning of eating. He'd hopped off the feeder, but instead of performing his usual midday calisthenics in the trees, he decided to peck around on the ground near the mourning doves. The poor doves. Mother says they aren't very smart. I don't know if I agree with her, but they have gentle natures. They eat fallen seed and stay out of everyone's way. Blue fixed his black eye on one of the doves and hopped toward him. The dove hopped away obligingly. Again, Blue advanced. The dove retreated. They continued this slow dance under the feeder, Blue never doing anything more than staring and hopping in pursuit. Finally, the dove couldn't take it. "What do you want?" Blue tilted his head so the other eye beheld the dove. "Name?" "Culver." "Just looking at you, Culver, getting to know you. We're not friendly enough in Milkweed Meadow, is my opinion." Culver looked at the other doves for help, but they responded with nervous twitches. He shook his head and tried to continue eating under Blue's scrutiny. "Oh, hen's teeth," he muttered at last, and flew off like a gray stone flung into the sky. "Leave them in peace, Blue." The voice came from above, high and crisp, and the birds and squirrels looked up to see a robin circling. It was Mother First Fledge. "I do what I please," Blue called back. "Yes, you do, and we all suffer. Why don't you migrate and find some other flock to torment?" Preferring worms and bugs, the robins didn't have to put up with Blue's bullying at the feeder. Maybe that's what gave Mother First Fledge her courage. "Watch your beak," said Blue, "or you'll be sorry, is my opinion." "You don't scare me." She swerved and flew away over the top of the house. Blue stood quietly for a moment. He must have been aware of the eyes on him, the others waiting to see his reaction. I don't know if he was driven by wickedness or the need to back up his words, or some ugly mix of both. The robins had built their nest near the house, on the crossbars atop the wooden trellis. It was nestled cozily under a gable. Blue flew to the top of the trellis and perched next to the nest. We had all overheard the robins talking about how proud they were of their 4 eggs that spring. Blue snatched one of the eggs in its mouth and flew to the ground. Beak slightly parted, he tapped at the shell until it cracked. I don't have the stomach to dwell on what came next, but there, right there on the lawn, in the late morning sunshine, the feathered brute feasted. Cannot wait to read the rest. Check out The Remarkable Rescue at Milkweed Meadow from the Alameda Free Library, and see you next time on First Chapter Friday.